During my trip to Japan in April, I saved my Gunpla shopping for the last leg of our trip in Tokyo. It was a bit of a gloomy day, but the first stop was the Unicorn Gundam at Diverse City. I was so hyped when I first saw it. Walking up to it and looking up at it towering over you was crazy. I thought it was really fun just to walk around and check out all the details. Shooting videos of it felt very similar to when I shoot my builds, but on a much bigger scale. Adding decals is always one of my favorite parts of builds, so I thought it was cool to see all the markings on this one. Now at 11 AM, the Gundam does a show and transforms into destroy mode. I felt bad for this mother and daughter. They got spooked. I ended up having to postpone my trip and reschedule for the weekend before Golden Week, so Gundam Base was reservation only. I didn't win any of the lotteries I entered, but I still figured I'd go check out what I could. So you can still access the Strict G store, which has Gundam apparel and merch. I thought this unicorn tee was pretty cool and would be a good souvenir. But yeah, it was definitely a bummer being able to see into the store but not go in. We went back down to check out the smaller store next to the Unicorn. Now there wasn't that much stuff available there, but they did have a few cool kits, like the HG Crystal Body Unicorn, the Titanium Finish RX-78, and the Master Grade Unicorn Perfectibility. They also had these little birthday keychains, which I ended up getting one as a souvenir. If you're like me and can't get a reservation at Gundam Base, I think you should still go to Diverse City. I mean, there's enough fun stuff to do at the mall, and seeing the life-size unicorn was totally worth the trip. To save some time, we got a cab over to Akihabara. We grabbed some lunch down the street from the first store. It was super good, really affordable, and we watched trains as we ate. The next stop I made was Surugaya, which is a little hidden. You have to go down this hallway and up to the second floor for it. Now if you watched my Kyoto video, you know I was singing praises for that location, but this store was on a whole other level. It was probably about 5 huge aisles stocked full of secondhand kits. Everywhere you look, there was such unique kits that would be so hard to find back in the States. I spent an hour going through the store, and I could have spent even longer. I've always been interested in these gigantic arm units. They even had the Hazel version, which I'm more of a fan of. I was really torn about getting this kit, but it was nearing the end of our trip and our luggage space was really small, so I was kind of thinking of just getting some smaller kits that would be easier to pack. The weapon on this Pale Rider caught my eye. I thought it'd be good for some kit bashing. I believe this kit is currently up on the USP Bandai site if you're interested. There was a shelf with a bunch of Witch for Mercury kits for super cheap, as low as $7, as well as some P Bandai kits, including the Elfrith Jew. I've always thought the arm would be really cool for a kit bash. It was a good price, and I thought it'd be easy to pack, so I decided to hold on to it. This rack was insane. It was all limited or P Bandai master grades. There was definitely some heavy hitters, but also some high prices. This Hazel box was too big to even hold with one hand. If you watched my Kyoto video, you know I was hunting for a P Bandai Sandrock. They had a few kits here, but the price tag seemed pretty wild to me. I mean, this converts to be about the same as, US eBay listings, so I didn't think the cost was worth picking one of these up here. This kit caught my eye, but I didn't look it up until I was editing this video. And I usually avoid clear kits, but something about this design and the blue color looks really sick to me. It's making me want to dabble into clear kits, and I really regret not getting this one. One end of the store had their perfect grades and larger kits, including a Neo Zeong, I thought this cross-contrast colors freedom looked pretty sick. They also had some Justice versions. Right before my trip, I had just gotten the Heavy Arms Custom off P Bandai. If I didn't, I probably would have gotten this kit here. They had stacks of Iron-Blooded Orphans P Bandai kits, which was cool to see because IBO kits were what got me back into building Gunpla a few years ago. They also had a good amount of full mechanics kits from the series, which are hard to come by in the States. I recently saw a build where they weathered and flat top coated a Fenix and thought it looked great. Now this HG version would have been a great way to test that out without having to pay the full price of the master grade. This Ghost Gundam caught my eye. I think it's a really cool design and it comes with a ton of effect parts. I wish I picked it up. I saw this kit and thought it would be great for kit bashing with all the extra weapon parts. I'm jealous of all the local builders that can come and easily pick up kits. There was an aisle with a bunch of cool real grades, like these 7 swords and Estrella. There was also a Hyper Mega Bazooka for a decent price, which is a kit I've been on the fence about ordering, so I went ahead and got it. There was way more at the shop, including other Gundam merch and vintage kits, but it was getting a bit later, so I decided to keep it moving. From there, I walked to the next shop, crossing through Electric Town and stopping to take in the sights. The next stop was Gundam Specialist, which is right next to Akihabara Station. You go down this hallway and take the elevator up to the 7th floor. The store was also amazing, and it had a different vibe than Surugaya. It felt like more of an experience or a destination. There was a lot of displays with a bunch of cool builds in them. They had a great selection, but the store was definitely busier, which made shopping and filming this a bit hectic. I wish I had more time to go through the kits here at a slower pace. As I've been editing this footage, I've noticed a bunch of kits that I wish I pulled. I really like the Woundwort, and I saw this clear version when I was in the store, but I didn't realize they had the regular one buried in the shelf. They also had a bunch of metal builds here, which I've yet to purchase one, but I figured Japan would be a good place to pick one up as it would be a little bit cheaper. There was this one end cap that had a bunch of cool seed kits, including a Testament Gundam for a good price. This one was a couple thousand yen cheaper than what I paid for it in Kyoto. I thought this Lightning Strike kit was pretty sick too. They had an Astray Outframe D, aka the Gundam Cameraman, which I've always thought was really cool because I went to film school and I've filmed skateboarding for pretty much my whole life using a camera that looks really similar to the one it has. You know, if suitcase space wasn't an issue, I would have gotten it. Well, it's on my wish list now and hopefully I can get one soon. On my way out, I saw a stack of Police Zakus. Now this was back in April before shipments of this kit had hit the States, so I copped one of these. I would really recommend going to both of these stores in Akihabara. I would say maybe go to Gundam Specialist first because prices were a little bit lower, so if you had specific kits in mind, I would check there before Surugaya. I think I kind of preferred shopping at Surugaya. It was a little bit more relaxing, they had a bigger selection, and it really seemed like it was mainly locals that went there. Now I was hoping to pick up a Master Grade Vidar while I was in Japan. On our last full day in Shinjuku, I quickly ran into the Yodobashi hobby store to see if they had any. Unfortunately, they didn't. Their selection was pretty weak, but they did have a stack of G-Quuxes for really cheap, so I ended up picking one of those up. So we headed to Haneda Airport with no Vidar in hand. But as we were waiting for some food, I looked across the hall, and there he was. Who knew? Not only do airports in Japan have self-driving wheelchairs, but they also sell Gunpla.